I'm going to walk you through step by step how to set up this easy automation for your home service business will allow you to track your conversions in Google Ads much more efficiently, and also give you the option to even run your ads 24/7. I'll have some follow-up videos about how we can actually maximize this opportunity, but first and foremost, what we need to do first is set up what I like to call just our call flow and then our form flow. And to keep it somewhat simple today, we're going to start with just when phone calls come in. So of course there is going to be a couple tools that you need. I'm assuming most of you all have these tools already. If not, we have videos about CallRail, OpenPhone, GorillaDesk, and when it comes to your CRM, you can use whichever you want. Of course, we use GorillaDesk for our CRM, and then CallRail is our main call tracking, and then OpenPhone is like where all of our calls route to, where we answer phones, text messages, things of that nature. But with that, we'll just get started. So whenever you're first setting this Zap up, what you're gonna have to do is select OpenPhone as the triggering event. So what it's saying is anytime a phone call starts, let's go ahead and initiate the Zap. From here, it goes down and splits into two paths, pretty much like a if then. If this happens, then do this. If this happens, then do that. So with path A, the first option is did we answer the phone? Okay, we did. Now, not only did we answer the phone, but how many times has this person called? Total number of calls. How many times have we dealt with this number? If it's more than one, we don't want to, continue. If so, then go ahead and continue. And that's why we make sure to put exactly matches. We don't want it to say includes, because includes could be 10 calls, 12 calls, anything with a 1 in it. But when we put exactly matches here, then that means the only way that this is going to move forward is if it says only one time has there been a call. So from there, we move down to the actual send offline conversion with Google Ads, and it's pretty straightforward. You connect your Google Ads account to this, of course, and then you'll set the event as send offline conversion. And then from there, of course, you pick your ad account and then, all that good fun stuff. And then usually the easiest way to do this is using what's called the GCLID, which is like Google Click ID. And this is also able to be seen in CallRail as well. Now this is saying no data because we haven't ran a test or anything recently through this, but that information is usually available pretty easily, especially of course if they called through the ad. And then of course the conversion action is first time phone call, which if you haven't seen the video that I posted, I forget how long ago now, like 1 or 2 years ago, about actually setting up these conversions in Google Ads. I'll try to remember to link it at the end of the video. If not, it should be in our Google Ads playlist. And then the timestamp, I don't really know why you need to put this here, but if I recall, it's like a required category that you have to put something in. So I just use the created at. And if you're wondering how does this work exactly, when we actually go in here and edit it, you'll know what you have to put because of course it'll have the little asterisk by it. So if we scroll down all the way, you'll see it says timestamp, that it is required. And then, like I said, this information is all very easy to find because all you have to do is just literally press the plus button, and then from there it'll have suggestions. You can type up whatever it is you're looking for, or you can even just look through all the different data that's available from that call. And this is why I'm so glad I do these videos for you guys, because a lot of times I end up catching stuff whenever I'm actually doing the videos for you guys. So one thing you're also going to want to enter before we actually let this go through as a conversion is a slight time delay. So whenever we set this up, we just do delay for, and then we just say delay it for 1 hour. Why do we want to give ourselves an hour? We want to give ourselves more than enough time to actually go into CallRail and put in an actual value for a specific lead. So if we go into CallRail here, you'll see where you can, click into a lead and you can enter in a value. Like this one, for example, they never got back to us, so we just labeled it as a $50 value. In 1 hour, that gives us, in my opinion, at least from my experience, more than enough time for either a customer to respond, for us to sell it, and then worst case scenario, we already have it set up in our Google account where like if no value is listed, then just go ahead and list it as like a $50 conversion by default, because we know that ideally we want to pay somewhere around $50 per lead. Now obviously in some cases we pay 95, 100, 20, whatever the case may be, but we know if we can be right around $50 and we can go to other platforms like Google Local Services, Yelp, whatever the case may be, and get a lead for say $50, then no lead is worth zero at the end of the day. Does that make sense? But once we put the delay in, then what'll happen is whenever we go and pull the conversion, we allow Google Ads to pull that information from CallRail as a conversion. When we scroll all the way down, you'll see where it says value. Right now it says no data because there was nothing ever put in for this one. Now we have those systems in place. This is where me hiring a admin assistant has helped out tremendously. But even if you're doing this by yourself, by setting up these automations, you're going to save yourself so much time and headaches, because all that you have to do, like I said, is once you get the notification that, hey, that was a Google Ads call, just go right into CallRail as soon as possible within the 1 hour window, 3 hour window, 24-hour window, however many hours or days you want to set this delay for. Go in, put your value on that. Like say you sell it for 1 year and it's like a $600 contract, you can go in and put that in as $600, or you can do it based off of your expected LTV. Like if you know that our average customer stays with us for 3 years, and you know the average amount they spend with us is somewhere around $2,000, and you can put that number, and whatever number you want to put in that makes the most sense for your business, you can go put that into CallRail under the value of that lead. And then once that time passes, it will then pull the value from that CallRail transcript, so to speak. So then from here you just hit continue. I'm not going to worry about testing the step because like I said, we don't really need to. And then from there, lastly, assuming we went down this entire path, it will also add this into GorillaDesk as a lead for us. And the beauty of that is of course, like you don't have to enter in a bunch of information from the get-go. You just have to get the most important stuff. Obviously you still want to get like their name, the address if you sold it, whatever the case may be, but the information in terms of the phone call itself, phone number, even more powerful with the form side. Whenever I do the video about the forms, you'll see the difference there. That's what I love about forms versus phone calls. I love phone calls more overall in terms of conversion rate, but I do love forms in terms of these automations because you can literally set this up to where you have all the information as soon as that customer submits the form right into your CRM using these automations. But now for the more interesting section, let's say we go down path B. So this one in short is kind of set up based on our business hours. So path A is what I would consider, during business hours. Path B is what I would consider, after hours. And again, I'm gonna actually need to copy this, and then what we'll actually do is we will paste it into here as well. And then to paste it, of course, all you have to do is add an action in here and then just do paste below. Technically I should have did paste to replace instead, but we can just delete this action out of here. And then again, it's just the same delay. We want to delay it for, you may want to set this up since it's after hours for a little bit different. Instead of hours, you may want to do, hey, let's give us a full business day, or, maybe we even want to give it like, say it's over the weekend, we may want to give ourselves like 3 days. This may delay the conversion tracking in terms of what you see in your Google Ads, of course, because this is delayed now by 3 days, but at least then you're having a more accurate number. If you're like me, of course, you're looking at the numbers like every single day, but whenever you take a step back and actually look at weeks over weeks, month over month, you're going to get a more accurate idea anyway. So either way, just keep that in mind whenever you're setting up these delays. In terms of business hours, when do you expect to have the value put in? Say a call comes in after hours or over the weekend, what's the longest it would take for you to respond? And just make sure you give yourself enough wiggle room. And then of course, say some of the numbers get messed up, you can always come in here and edit this stuff pretty easily. But here is the beauty of this whole path right here is, let's say, again, let's say that the call, instead of being answered, was not answered. So text contains false, because that's what CallRail will pretty much say in its communication. It'll say false, like it wasn't answered. From here, it will go ahead and continue as long as all these, filters are met. For example, of course, obviously you want the source to match Google Ads for this example, or continue if the start time is after 7 p.m., which actually I'm going to edit this because our business hours have changed since then. It's actually around 5 p.m. for us, so I'll put it as 1700. And then from there, if the start time time is before 7 a.m., which again, we'll actually edit this to 8 a.m., then, you know, this will go ahead and continue. So pretty much we set up our business hours in here to where, you know, hey, between 5 p.m. and 8 a.m., you know, always go down this path essentially, because from here what we will want to do is, you can see here we have OpenPhone now on this side. You're probably wondering, why is OpenPhone on this side but not this side? That's because this essentially is us kind of sending a automated message to the inbound lead, letting them know, hey, you did contact us after hours, we appreciate you reaching out. And as you can see here, here's the message that I actually have set up right here. It just says, hey, this is Griffin with Preferred Pest Management. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to earn your trust in business. We're currently closed, but don't worry. You can respond to this text message and give us details about your issue, and we will call you when we open. And again, this should say 8 a.m. now. Open at 8 a.m. Look forward to working with you. And then, of course, we don't want to mark the conversation as done. If you know anything about OpenPhone, you can mark a conversation as done, and it's like archiving the message essentially. We don't want that. So then, of course, from there, and then again, we're not going to retest the step. We're just going to hit continue. And then, of course, we only want it to, you know, continue to send this through as a conversion and a lead if they called us one time. You know, you could technically put the OpenPhone message further down as well, but it doesn't cost us anything other than, you know, maybe a wasted zap at the most. So, I mean, it's not a big deal in terms of the placement of this. The main thing is of course, we don't want it to get sent to Google as a conversion, or GorillaDesk is like a duplicate lead or something, of course, if they've already called us. So again, it goes back to the same thing as the other side where, you know, total number of calls is 1, exactly matched, not contains. I can't stress that enough. Make sure you do exactly match, not contain. If you do contain or is in or anything like that, then you're going to get bad results. But if you do exactly match as 1, that means it's only going to be obviously a new caller. They've only called you one time. And then of course, like we said, you know, delay it for 3 days. In this case is what I'm doing. Again, you can play around with this 1 day, 2 days. If you're only closed 1 day a week, 2 days a week, whatever the case may be. I put 3 days on this one just because, like, I keep in mind also like holiday weekends. You know, technically speaking, if you wanted to prepare for like worst case scenario, you could put this in as like 5 days. But again, every business is different. Do whatever works best for you. And then of course, same concept as the other side from here, pretty much just a copy and paste. You know, we're going to send it to the offline conversion, assuming all of these, you know, have met the criteria. You know, we're going to send it as a conversion and then obviously put it into GorillaDesk as well. So like I said, overall, not to me, it looks more complicated than what it is. If you've ever set up any Zaps before, then you know you probably understand that some of these workflows can get very long and very complicated looking. Or if you use N8N or any of those other tools, then this is probably a walk in the park for you. If you're someone like me who had little to no experience and just self-taught by watching other YouTube videos and classes and things like that on how to do it, webinars, all that different stuff, then it probably looks kind of overwhelming. If you do need help with this, of course, like I said, don't hesitate to fill out a form in the description box down below. Set up a call with me or whatever the case may be. I can either, you know, do personal one-on-one training, walk you through how to set some of these up for your business, or if you just want me to do it for you, we can talk about that as an option as well. And again, if you're new to me, I do not have like an AI business or anything like that. Like, I don't make money off of like, you know, a consulting business or anything like that whatsoever. I just mentioned that now lately because I've had a lot of you guys reaching out, just asking questions and asking if I can do this and that for you. So like we said, we have that form as an option for those that are interested. I actually own a home service business myself, Preferred Pest Management, in the Dallas, Texas area. I've been in business for about 5 years now, and on my channel overall, I just document my entire business journey, the good, the bad, the ugly. Every little ounce of information that I learn is all self-taught. I was not given any type of golden spoon or silver spoon, whatever the phrase is. I spend hundreds and hundreds of hours a month just diving into business and just figuring out how I can continue to make my business a well-oiled machine. So if any of that interests you, go ahead and subscribe. And then if you haven't seen our video that we posted recently about another AI automation that I set up to create endless amounts of blogs, I'll make sure to link it somewhere, at the end of this video for you guys.